Halo Infinite was plagued with issues well into release, and despite its solid gameplay and return to its traditional roots, the game's problems were big enough to leave a bad first impression on many fans. I myself was, and partially still am, one of these fans. This is why I completely dropped the game after playing it on and off, hoping that things would change. After almost a year, I'm returning to Halo Infinite to see how the game has come along, and if you're anything like me, to see if the game does right by its longtime Halo fans and new fans alike. Now, before we jump in, I want to mention that the last time I played Halo Infinite was a bit under a year ago in November-December of 2022 for the winter update. I was pretty on and off before that, mostly off to be honest because of the myriad issues that the game had. Back then, the battle passes didn't even give any sort of premium currency like they do now. There were less modes and less maps. It felt like all of the armor was just in the shop, and progression was a slog, to name a few of the issues that the game had. Now, to be fair, around the time that I stopped playing for the winter update, it seemed like 343 was working on progression with changes for per-match experience and that sort of thing. Seasons 3 and 4 of Halo Infinite both introduced new maps, equipment, modes, and of course armors in both the Battle Pass and the shop alike. The mode that Season 4 added is Infection, which is crazy to think about because it's such a staple of Halo. I wanted to experience all of this new content from Seasons 3 and 4 because it's the stuff that I haven't played yet, and it's been almost a year, so I figured maybe I'll jump in and see if any of these changes feel substantial. With all of that being said, the first thing that I want to talk about is player progression. As I mentioned earlier, the game didn't really have much progression other than the Battle Pass, and that by itself felt like a slog due to how poorly designed the challenge system was and that it forced you to play specific modes in certain ways. The current state of Halo Infinite's progression is in a much better spot with this. I played Big Team Battle, Ranked Tactical, Infection, and a bunch of other modes, and I finished almost all of my challenges for the week, including the ones for the event that is running right now, without really trying. This is by itself a big step in the right direction for what Halo progression should be, as the game is built on playing what you want and just having fun. Challenges in Infinite used to feel like chores. Now they feel like fun little side objectives that you can just cross off as you play the game. And like I said before, my challenges completed themselves basically. The only one that I had to really try to get was, I think, 5 kills with a specific weapon type because I wasn't using that weapon type. So I just jumped into Social Fiesta, played a couple of games, and I got my challenge done. Another big change in Season 4 is that it introduced a career rank. These are essentially just traditional levels, and it seems like there are about 91 of them named after military ranks, a lot like the ones in Halo Reach. According to a post on Halo Waypoint, which are the official Halo forums, they said that you can get nameplates and emblems for your gear by hitting certain rank thresholds. Now, it's a shame that we had to wait so long to get a career rank system or just a level up meta progression system in Halo, as virtually every other Halo before has launched with one, but it is good to see nonetheless. Compared to launch, Halo Infinite in Season 4 feels a lot more fleshed out with its content. I feel that at launch the game was really bare bones in terms of features and modes, like it didn't even have a dedicated Slayer playlist. Thankfully, 343 have listened to their fans and have implemented not only these modes, but other classics like Fiesta and some rotating ones like Team Snipers. The game also has Forge and a custom games browser now, so you can play all sorts of user-created modes easily. Halo Infinite launched with 10 maps spread across the standard arena modes and Big Team Battle. As of Season 4, the game has 18 I believe if you include Drudge, which is a remake of the Halo Reach map Countdown, but it's got about 18 maps with 2 new ones having been introduced in Season 4. Those are Scar for Big Team Battle and Forest for arena modes. This is close to double the maps, and having played on most of them, they feel really good. They feel like Halo. The new original maps look incredible, and the new maps that are based on the older ones are remade with different looks, but a similar feel, and I applaud that from 343 for not just porting maps over and calling it a day. The new equipment that was added is really damn fun, and I feel like it substantially changes the flow of gameplay. For example, the Quantum Translocator lets you put a portal down and teleport to it whenever you activate it again. What did I just pick up? The portal. This is bad. Or is it? Or is it? Ooh! That's dirty. I like that. That is... There's also the new Shroud Screen equipment, which is interesting to use as it blocks all vision within the bubble, so you can't see out and people can't see in. This was a lot of fun to use in Infection and even in other modes where you can cut people off pretty easily. 343 also added the new Bandit rifle, and let me tell you, this thing pumps. I guess it's supposed to be Infinite's version of Halo Reach's DMR, and man does it do the job. Easily my favorite gun in the game, and I love getting it in Big Team Battle. Another change that I really want to touch on is one that was very near and dear to my heart, and it was one specifically for Big Team Battle. At first, I didn't notice it on my first game on, but we had Wraiths and Scorpion tanks spawning at the start of the match. Now, if you didn't play Halo Infinite at launch, then you're probably wondering, what is this dude talking about? Basically, at the launch of Halo Infinite, you'd be lucky to see a Wraith or a Scorpion, because they wouldn't spawn in until it was so late in the match that they might as well not even spawn in at all. And when they did spawn, it was just for one random side, so there was a chance that you'd be getting rolled by one instead of having a shot at using it. So to me, this was a massive change for Big Team Battle, and it really makes the gameplay feel more fun because you have access to power vehicles throughout the match. Now lastly, I want to get into the cosmetic changes. I'm someone who values cosmetics in games, and I certainly have no problem with buying them in free-to-play games as long as I'm enjoying myself. I've bought stuff for Warframe, Path of Exile, and I've even bought the Cat Ears bundle for Halo Infinite for like $8 or something because I was having fun during the winter update, and I felt that the game was really headed in the right direction. The reason that I say this is so that you understand that my issue is not with the cash shop, but the practices tied to them. Halo is fundamentally about the gameplay, but ever since Halo 3 with the Hayabusa armor and the Katana chest piece, cosmetic progression has been ingrained as a part of what Halo is. Maybe I'm just jaded, but more often than not, it feels like developers make their games free to play just to justify adding a shop. A lot of the uproar during Infinite's release was because of the cosmetic system and their atrocious prices in the shop. With Halo Reach, we got to pick whatever colors we wanted, and we got plenty of armor pieces to choose from as long as we played the game. This was mostly the case for Halo 4 and 5 following that. Halo Infinite comes around and now we have to use whatever colors are chosen for us, or if you want a specific color set, then I hope you got your wallet nearby. On top of that, 343 introduced armor cores which lock cosmetics so that they aren't universal. Unfortunately, we still don't have cross-core customization for the pieces that really matter, but thankfully 343 has lowered the prices of the shop items across the board so that they are more reasonable. I personally don't plan on buying anything, but that could always change. If you're a free-to-play player, don't expect to get anything crazy on your character unless you do the events, in which case, maybe you get something cool. I feel like the best bang for your buck would be just to buy the season pass, as they give you progression objectives and arguably good looking armor pieces and effects. As I mentioned earlier, it seems that as of season 2, the battle passes now give you credits to use for the next battle pass, much like how Fortnite does it, which is a fantastic change. So overall, for about $20, season 1 doesn't have credits, so if you buy season 1 that's $10 and then $10 for season 2, you could get a slew of different cosmetics to earn from seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4, which means that you would use the credits from season 2 to buy season 3 and then season 4. Obviously, this wasn't always the case since launch, but if you're a returning player for season 4 or beyond, not all of the cool stuff is locked to the shop, and you can get some really cool armor if you're willing to pay beyond the free-to-play point. Overall though, I'd say that the current state of Halo Infinite really feels to me like this is the Halo that we should have gotten at release. Progression is easier and more enjoyable than before, and we have separate career ranks for our characters. On top of that, we have Forge and custom games browsers with more maps, weapons, and modes than before. And in general, the game just feels fun. It doesn't feel like a chore. It just feels fun. The game has taken massive steps forward, and I want to see it thrive again. Unfortunately, I feel like too many people might have gotten a sour taste from the launch and would choose to not return, especially considering how many other games are out there that are worth playing right now. 343 seems to be listening to player feedback and are making positive changes, at least from my perspective. The game is steadily adding content in the form of weapons, maps, modes, and more, and I'm sure that Season 5 will continue this trend. Halo Infinite finally feels like it's in a great spot, and I've personally been really enjoying just swapping between casual and ranked playlists and just playing all different sorts of maps and modes. And overall, I'd say that, is this game worth your time? Should you come back and try it out in Season 4? Yes, you should. With that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and if you made it this far, make sure to leave a comment about whether or not you're going to try out Halo Infinite. As always, thanks for watching.